For the last time in 2024, it's show week, and you know what that means. Ignite Wrestling returns for one last show of 2024. That is, anyway, that being Curtain Call 3. And we are going to preview Curtain Call 3 with, well, the only person we can preview Curtain Call 3 with, the Ignite GM himself, Mr. C.J. Carter. Good evening.
Good evening. How you doing? How you doing, Adam?
Oh, good. Oh, good. It's show week. I'm always excited on show week. Although we've met previously earlier on, a couple of a month or so ago at another show, it
Yeah,
feels
yeah.
like forever since I've seen Shenley Road again.
Yeah, I know we only do every 2 months and it feels like it can feel like 2 years sometimes.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean it's weird. It goes so fast between, but also it just feels so long. And it'd be nice, I think, in an ideal world to do monthly shows like to that point. But we'll get there. We'll get there one day. And then it won't feel like so long between shows, hopefully.
exactly that. Although all the sort of stuff that goes on in between it, I'm kind of glad that you don't in a way.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I honestly don't know how the promoters who run weekly shows or 4 shows a month or I don't know how they do it. I'll be honest with you. Running every other month is enough for me right now.
Yeah, I think even from a turnbuckle title perspective, it's enough for me right now. But obviously, look, last show of the year, as always, it's come around. It has, although we're saying about how long shows are, it's come around quite quickly that we're here again. I remember last year
Yeah.
talking to you about Curtain Call 2. It's been an incredible one. We'll do the Cole 2024 review another time. But last show of the year, how are you feeling ahead of it? After the back of a really good September show.
Yeah, quality wise, yeah, September was it was right up there. The main event, we've had so much amazing feedback from that match. Probably one of the best matches we've ever had. I say it a lot. I feel like I'm a broken record, but like you do find that each one just tends to top the last one. So you think that's the best you're ever going to see, and then somehow two people go out there and top it again. We have had some incredible matches over the years, but I think Tommy Carr and Mills really it's going to be it's going to be very very hard to top going forward. What I loved about that match at that show was that those two went out there and had a kind of technical wrestling
Yep.
classic, which, for our fans at 96 Shenley Road, sometimes doesn't always go down as well. They like characters, they like, over the top stuff, and they like a lot of crowd work. And, Tommy and Mills went out there and they had just a solid, amazing technical wrestling match, and they won the crowd over with it, which just, I think, just shows how great it was that they were able to do that. And then on the same card, you had Sapphire and Aluna, which also stole the show. Like that, I mean, I think everyone thought that would be a great pairing and a great match, but I don't know if anyone realized it was going to be that great. And it kind of blew up online a little bit, and there's been a lot of people talking about it, and it's now carried over to United, and they're trying, and that feud's gone over there as well. And now they're going to have a match there as well. So it's kind of going to spread across the British wrestling scene, I think. So yeah, there's a lot to top, and then obviously the chaos that was the Turnbuckle Championship match, your championship, they're hitting the Turnbuckle Championship, and that's led into the tag match that we have on this show coming up. So yeah, I mean, the end of the year is always you always want to go out of a bang, and this is the end of our third full year. So in a way, it's kind of like our 3 year anniversary. In a way, our first ever show was October, so we've just passed that kind of mark. But in terms of an actual show, it's like the end of our third year, our 3 year anniversary, and it's kind of crazy that um it's gone. Like you said, it goes so fast. It feels so long sometimes, but it's just gone so fast. It's a bit of a blur. Yeah, just trying to end the year with a bang and roll into 2025, which seems crazy to say, and start the fourth year with what will be chapter 4. So
Yeah, we will start that. But before we get to chapter 4, we do have Curtain Call 3, and my first match
yeah.
graphic is going up right now. You
Aha.
can see behind me. Look, Taylor, let's go. Let's just do the story. Taylor won the Call Your Shot gauntlet back in July.
Yeah.
Now, in September, he decided that he wanted to go for against a former champion, in which case he chose Smashing Mike. And to quote a song reference, you get by with a little help from your friends. And say he certainly did, not from a little friend anyway, that being the guy behind me, you can actually see above my head, Mr. Tom Mercer. When you announced KM Lane, who we've both looked at over the last 12 to 18 months, we've both been very impressed with what we saw.
Yeah, yeah.
You announced he was debuting. Taylor instantly took the match on, albeit slightly cockily that he's taken this match on. Is Taylor in danger of perhaps underestimating and overlooking a debut in the bounty hunter KM Lane here?
Yeah, I mean it's entirely possible. I've Taylor's ego knows no bounds, I think, does it? And especially with that backup behind him, as you can see hovering above your head there. I think, he's always been a confident man when they was in the rebellion with Jack. And obviously I don't think that story is over. He kind of, with the help of Tom, once again kind of screwed Jack a little bit out of that gauntlet match and eliminated him on his way to taking that briefcase. But I think his ego's gone to a whole new level now. He's got Tom by his side. I think he feels like he's kind of invincible with him out there on the sidelines. And as GM at some point, I think I might have to step in and sort something out because it's getting a little bit out of hand. But yeah, I think for that reason, you're right. He may be taking this a little bit lightly. He may think that as someone who's been with us since day one and has won all kinds of matches in tags and in singles, probably thinks that someone like a debut like KM Lane coming in is going to make light work of. But I'm certain that will not be the case. As you said, we've both seen this man wrestle across the country. We went and saw him in what was it last month? It was
RCWA.
Was it last month or was it? It was last. Or was it? Yeah, October. It was last month. Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to work out what month we're in. We're in November. Yeah, we saw him. We saw him last month at RCWA. Even when I was still working shows, which might as well be a decade ago now. I don't know. It feels like I've got cobwebs on me already. But I was doing shows with him then, and I was so impressed with him then, and he was so new then. And I remember thinking he's definitely someone who would be great for Ignite. And it's just never quite worked out to get him in. And this is the perfect opportunity to come straight in against someone like Taylor, who is a pillar, I would say, of Ignite. But if he takes him too lightly with Tom in the background or not, he could end up flat on his face and being quite embarrassed holding that briefcase, but taking the loss at the same time. So, see what happens there. And then at some point, I'm sure we'll see Jack again. I'm sure we've not seen the last of Jack at Ignite. So,
I'd like to think not. I would like to obviously say that also this match should be really, really good between KM Lane and Taylor. And who knows? I mean, he does have that briefcase, and we do have to talk about 2 title matches during this show. There's always the possibility that he could decide that he wants to end the year as a champion.
Yeah, I'm sure he does, and he can cash that in whenever he likes. It could be on this show. It could be in February at Chapter 4. It could be at some point next year. I mean, will he do it in the middle of a match? Will he do it at the end of a match? Will he decide that actually I want it on this date and he's going to do it the right way? But I suspect I would suspect, knowing Taylor, that's not going to happen. But yeah, we'll have to see. But I tell you what, I am excited to finally see KM Lane at Ignite, and I'm sure all the fans will be impressed. And if he can walk away with a shock victory, even better.
I think when you said earlier on about people love characters at Shenley Road, and they do, KM Lane's an apt one that they're going to fall in love with, I think, to be honest with you.
I agree.
And I hope it's not the last that we see of him after, regardless, win, lose, or draw. Hopefully we get to see more of KM Lane going forward at Ignite. We will see. I want to move on to this one next. Okay, so lots of reasons going to see. Sorry, that is Mike behind me for those of you that don't see. So
you're hiding his beautiful, charismatic face there. He's not going to be happy about that.
I'm probably going to get it. Probably get put in a bin. When I see him on Sunday. Look, triple threat match. Look, Mike, obviously coming off the back of unfortunately losing the championship in July, lost our championship to Mark True in July, as we just talked about. He did lose the match against Taylor. You may see a name change at some point behind me. The former artist, formerly Adonis Payne, he was an arrogant prick then. He's a big more an arrogant prick now that he's Chris Aries, or whatever you want to call him. Again, former Ignite champion. He lost at Buckle Up as well. He decided in the last show, in a match that was quite close to home for him, the debut in Arthur Scurro, he decided to take a chair to, quite literally. He did lose the match by DQ, but he obviously won the war in a lot of ways. in that. I'm sure there'll be some family poker games over Christmas that Arthur may want to get him back on. And then, of course, the returning Jay Joshua, who, again, hasn't won a match at Ignite, but has been very, very impressed with everyone. The crowd love him at Ignite. He's great. He's doing a lot on the circuit now. We're seeing him in some of the, the Rev Pros of this world. Three matches here, triple threat match. And I think each and every one of these men will be thinking, if I win here, I'm in contention come chapter 4.
Absolutely. In contention for either a turnbuckle title shot or an Ignite Championship
Yep.
title shot. He laid that out perfectly there. This is quite high stakes here. Three men who are, like you said, Jay Joshua's yet to pick up a win, but he's been in some big matches.
Yeah.
He's got a bone to pick in this match with Chris Aries, the former Adonis Payne. If you remember, he had Adonis Payne's first title defense at the start of the year, the very first show of the year in February. And we're now at the last show of the year, just to prove a point of how fast things have gone. That feels like that could have been a few months ago, and it was the very first show of the year. And as he did in many of his matches, Chris managed to sneak out of that one with some with some not exactly clean wins. Against him and against Tommy Kyle, and I think Jay Joshua was going to have a bone to pick with him straight in this one, because he could potentially have ended the first show of this year as the Ignite champion had things gone a little bit differently there, and Chris Aries not got away with some of the cheating in that match. And he also was an absolute standout in the Call Your Shot match as well. So, he's been so close to having the briefcase and so close to having the Ignite Championship. And I think he'll, like you said, if he can pick up a win in this one, and he's against two former champions in Smashing Mike and Chris Aries, then I think he will definitely be wanting to lay his claim for a title shot, whatever championship that is. Because, Mike has been with us since pretty much day one, lost his first ever singles match to True.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, then when lost his second singles match to Taylor in the last one, we were just talking about, but again, with the help from Tom on the outside. So Mike's going to want to get back to winning ways. He's going to want to get the Turnbuckle Championship back around his waist, I am sure. And Chris Aries is going to want to get the Ignite Championship back around his waist. And I think we saw how pissed off and livid he was on the last show, taking out his brother Arthur Scurro with the steel chair. I don't think for him that was about winning or losing. I don't think he really cared, to be honest. He was meant to be wrestling Crowley. He was meant to be proving a point against one of the best in the country after losing his title to Tommy Kyle in July. He was already furious that he'd lost his title, even more furious that Crowley wasn't at the show. And then even more furious again, Skip didn't raise his hand and his brother walked out through the curtain to challenge him to a match. So we're going to have to see what kind of Chris Aries turns up in this one. New name, seems to have a whole new attitude, seems to be even more angry and vindictive and pissed off than he's ever been. But yeah, this is going to be a classic, I think. And three men, despite what I've just said about Aries, their abilities, none of their abilities can be doubted. Nope. So two former champions, one man who's been so close to holding a championship himself. And yeah, we'll see who comes out on top on this one.
Looking very much forward to it. And obviously I'll have my eyes on that for Turnbuckle reasons. You'll have your eyes on it for Ignite reasons. But yeah, should be a very interesting triple threat match. Just thinking of Mike's charisma and Jay Joshua. I wonder if they're going to have a dance off or something during that.
I think it's probably going to happen.
Well, maybe I would say get Aries involved, but you have enough trouble getting the smile out of Chris Aries.
I was going to say, you'd probably get something like that. That face he's got right there, standing, looking disapproved at those two dancing, if that does tend to happen. But yeah, the charisma in this one between those two.
Yeah, the charisma and the charisma's in the arsehole. That's two great, man. Anyway, let's move on quickly because we can talk about Chris Aries and his attitude as long as we can, but we'll move on. This match, you know what? After the last match that we saw this lady in, I am looking forward to this one.
Yes.
You mentioned before, you did mention, we knew that Sapphire and Aluna was going to be good. There was no question about that. But there's a difference. It wasn't good. It was great. And it really, as you said, it's got the people talking over the indies. Like you say, it's now crossing over to United. What I loved about this myself is because we all know Aluna as the happy, she's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet in your life. it was so amazing to see her with that aggression and having to pull out. It was a woman's strong style match, really, between her and Sapphire. And as you rightfully mentioned, I don't think that's the last we're going to see of Sapphire. Maybe she'll come back from revenge, but who better to put her in the ring with than another heavy hitter in Chantel Jordan?
Yeah, you nailed it. And, Aluna's been with us for a long time, and like you said, she's been the kind of um, happy baby face that all the fans love, and they still do love. And she's got so much character and charisma and energy, but she really switched it up in that one. And she had a very hard hitting feud with Kira a little while ago.
Yes.
That ended in a no DQ match, but I think even with this match with Sapphire, she took it to a whole new level, stepped up a gear that I don't think anyone realized she had. And I think that just boils down to the fact that that one was simmering for months. That one had been simmering all year between those two,
Yeah.
trying to get their hands on each other. And for whatever reason, it didn't quite work out through, injuries and other people getting involved in tag matches. And they finally got to face off in the middle of the ring. And boy, did they go at it. And I think it stunned all of 96 Shenley Road. I think everyone was taken back with just how intense that match was between those two. And wow, it blew my mind. And I really hope we can. I think everyone's asking for it. I want to see Anna Luna versus Sapphire too.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we're going to see it at some point next year. We have to see if Sapphire is going to be back. I'm sure she will. But like you said, what a person to step in. Chantel Jordan, my goodness. Yeah, she kicks hard. And you want to talk about intense, she brings intensity more than anyone else in the scene right now, I think. So it's a real good challenge for Luna coming off the back of that intense match with Sapphire to prove that that wasn't a one-off,
Yeah.
and actually, she can do it on a regular basis in these types of matches. And if she can roll through this one as well somehow and come out with another win, I'm sure we're talking about people in the last match winning a title shot. I'm sure Luna's going to be saying, look, I'm undefeated in X amount of matches, and I've just got through two huge singles matches against two of the best women's wrestlers in the country. I think she's going to be in line for a title shot as well at some point. So, yeah, all of these matches have stakes in them. Anyone who can pick up wins right now is going to be thinking they want a title shot, and that includes Luna.
It does, and we can't, we definitely can't ignore her. That's for sure. I mean, she's in that number one contenders match that she had that she was unfortunate in with Tommy Carl and Corey,
Mm-hmm.
which was a tremendous one.
Yeah.
I think she's, well, we will get into the whole end of year stuff after this, after the show on Sunday. But like, in terms of MVPs, I don't think there's many people that would argue
Right.
if you chose a
No,
Luna.
I would agree. I'd fully agree. When you think Ignite, I think people think, if not first, then certainly very close second. Aluna's right up there. She's synonymous with Ignite now. As soon as her music hits, all the fans are up on their feet. She always delivers. She always has a standout match. Like you said, you just mentioned that triple threat match that she had with Tommy and Corey. And that again, that blew everyone away as well for different reasons. She was in there, and I think people, especially with our crowd, because our crowd are quite a traditional crowd, right? So I don't think they were expecting a woman, as it were, to go out there and hang with two of the best guys in Ignite, even in the country, and be at their level. And she really showed everyone that she can go one on one with anyone in that ring. Yeah, so she comes through this one, she's certainly on her way to a title shot at some point. I'm very sure of that.
Definitely so. You mentioned him, so I thought I'd ask. Any word from Corey since the Jacobs? Was he still?
No, I'll be honest, I haven't heard a word from him. He
Interesting.
he left that day, he left his metaphorical boots in the ring, and not not heard from him since. But I said after that show, and I still stick by it now. I'd love to see him back at Ignite. I really would. He's as I just said with Aluna, when you think Ignite, you have certain kind
Yeah.
of people that go right, hand in hand with that, the pillars of Ignite, as you were, and
Mm.
Corey was one of those for sure. Held that championship for over a year and was our first, real champion. Obviously, Forrest Hayes was the first ever champion, but had to forfeit that title and didn't get to defend it. But Corey was the first real champion that went out and defended that title show after show for well over a year. and I want to see him back, and I'm sure the fans want to see him back too.
Corey, if you with your phone at any point, pick it up and have a chat with me. I would love to have you back. That is definitely for sure. Someone I never want to see back, but I'm going to have to, and you know where I'm going with it straight away,
Oh.
is this man.
Ah,
Not Nino exactly, not Nino, but his opponent. Now, look, Truman's been running roughshod. He started. Oh, was it back in April? Yeah, he's attacked Tig, didn't he? Back in April.
yes, April, yeah.
Mm.
Attacked our raffle picker while Skip was pulling the raffle tickets with Tig, trying to make a point. Look, Truman was on our very first show. He won the match, and for various reasons, just hadn't been back since. And as you can see by that face right there on him, he was not all that impressed. And instead of going about it the right way, instead of trying to get back on our shows the right way, as most talents would do, he decided to show up himself unannounced, attack staff, and then attack ring crew on the following show, which was Leland Bryant,
Yep.
Nino's brother, um, which led to the match that they had at Buckle Up, which was at Nino's request. I didn't want him on the show. I didn't want to see, like, look, he's got talent. There's no doubt in that. He wouldn't have been on our first show if he didn't have talent, but that's not the way you go about it. And you don't turn up and make demands to me. You don't turn up and say you're going to hold our show hostage.
Yep.
Buckle Up, our big, the biggest show of the year, the joint show that we do, and saying he's going to hold that hostage if he didn't get his match. That for me is not a way to get matches, and I'm not interested in playing those games. But Nino demanded the match. Nino wanted the match, and so the match was made at Buckle Up. He won that match, which earned him a place on our roster. And here we are, the rematch. I made it on the last show. Nino has got a point to prove. He's been with us since day one. He's the hometown boy. He's seen his brother be attacked twice, as you saw on the last show. Truman using his brother to put in front as a shield, essentially, which led to him managing to beat Nino on the last show with a low blow as well. And that's not the way we do things here at Ignite. And so if he wants to play those games, here we are. I made the match, no disqualification. And people might look at Nino and say, he's a high flyer. He's not the biggest guy in the world. How's he going to go out there in a no disqualification match against someone like Truman and hold his own? But I've seen that. I don't know if Ignite fans have traveled the country and seen shows all around, the area and different independent shows. But I've seen Nino have no disqualification matches with some of the best, and I mean literally the best talent in the country, against Spike Trevay, against Michael Oku. He's the current Purpose champion. He can hold his own, trust me, and especially when he's going out there to fight for his brothers. Yeah, it's going to be. I don't think people should underestimate Nino in this one at all.
No.
And I'm hoping Truman gets his comeuppance, to be honest.
I think we all know. We think we all wish, or we all know, that he deserves a big punch in that face of his ugly mug that he's got going on. I'll move away from Truman's face now. When I picked this one up, I can't not smile for various reasons. Now, there's so many reasons. Now, they should say that you should never admire your own work in life, but there's two reasons why I'm smiling. One's the match, and two is because I'm so proud I can put it on at Ignite with you and all the fans there. Now, the story behind this is quite long, so just have to humor me a minute, everyone. That's while I explain. We had the fatal four-way at the last show. JJ Gao come and done an amazing job. It was JJ Gao, it was Danny, it was Joe, and it was True for the Turnbuckle Championship. Now, but this way, True never cheated as such in the match to win. There was an argument that he may have done. I mean, he may have had a low blow or so. But regardless of that, CPF had hit their finish on JJ Gao, who was on the floor. True then decided, as a champion does, and opportunistically, there was an opportunity. So he decided to knock CPF out of the ring and maybe a low blow or so, then hit the shooting star and pin JJ Gao. Can't do anything about the pin. That was fine. But a lot of people sum up and said to me and you at the end, they kind of thought that CPF had the match won. So later on that night, I did make the match that it was going to be CPF against True and Lacey. I put a bit of Vince Russo spin on it, that it was going to be a Turnbuckle Championship match. Now, I did initially say that whoever gets the pinfall would win the match, implying if Kieran Lacey was to get the pinfall, he would be the champion. And Mark then used his championship hand and his champion's advantage and said, absolutely not. If Kieran does pick up the victory for his team, Mark retains the championship, which we agreed to, because you got to have the champion's got to have some advantage. But in terms of this match, I mean, first time ever, never been done anywhere in wrestling, in British wrestling, or anywhere around the world, to pit in two of the best British tag teams on the scene today. This has, we was talking about match of the year, how great matches are. This one could just well top it all.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about Mills and Kyle at the start of this show and saying how I don't know if anything will ever top that. But if any four people can, it's these four people right here. I can't, look, we've had our issues with True over the last couple of years, but look, he won the title. He won it fair and square against Mike. There was actually no cheating or anything going on in that one. He proved that when he wants to, he can turn it on and he can win matches. In the last one, as you pointed out, not technically cheating. It was a four-way, so no disqualification really. But he did use the belt. He did use a low blow, and CPF did have that match won. So here we are. As you said, people felt like CPF deserved a second chance at that. We've got the tag match, but in terms of a match itself, this is going to be something special. These are four people who I could not say enough good things about. I really couldn't. I really think we're going to be talking about these four certainly within the next 5 years, but probably well before that. I would imagine by the end of next year or the year after that, these four are all going to be signed somewhere. CPF are already doing matches for New Japan. I would not be surprised to see them out there regularly. I would not be surprised to see True and Lacey starting to pick up bookings in Japan as well, or even over in America. Obviously, CPF have been working for GCW quite a lot, and they're out in Europe a lot. I just don't think it gets any better than these two tag teams. I know I'm biased, as you are as well. This is your match, your championship. And so people will say, well, it's your promotion, so of course you're going to say that. But I do honestly believe these are two of the best tag teams in the world right now. Forget our country. Like you can watch you can watch WWE, you can watch AEW on your television, or you can go online and watch New Japan, or you can watch the Rev Pros or the Progresses or the TNTs or the OTTs and all the big promotions in this country. I just don't think you'll see any talent better than these four. I really, really don't. And I've been a huge supporter of Joe Lander and Danny Black for years now, and they're so on the cusp of breaking it big time. And True and Lacey are not far behind. Look, they're all four regulars for Rev Pro now, and I think that just shows how talented they are. I'm so proud to have this match as a first-time match at Ignite, and I'm sure you're proud to have it at Ignite for your championship. Yeah. And this is one that, as a fan, I'm going to be able to just sit back and enjoy, watch them blow the roof off 96. And I just can't say enough good things about all four of these guys. And I hope in 5 years' time, when they are signed to AEW or WWE or New Japan or a combination of all of them, me and you can sit down and go, do you remember that match that we booked for Ignite for your title? And now look at them, kind of in the same way that I like to see, Kit Wilson in WWE and think, I remember having him on Clash, and it makes you proud seeing them like go all the way, and these four will do it. I'm sure they will. I can't wait for this one. I do. My only worry is that the hall in the ring is not big enough for them all, and it's just they're going to be flying around all over the place. It's going to be carnage. How Nick the ref is going to manage this one, I have no idea. But like you said, the advantage is slightly with True, I guess, because he's got two members, two people who could pick up a pin. He's still going to walk out with that title. But it's kind of a little bit of a disadvantage also, because if Lacey's in the ring at some point, he could potentially lose the title for him, because if Danny or Joe pick up a pin on Lacey, he's lost his title all of a sudden. So in a way, he's got a bit of an advantage, but in another way, he's got a bit of a disadvantage. So, I guess we have stacked it a little bit for him over the last two shows. I say it's kind of down to you. So I'm sure he's going to have more bones to pick with you. His first defense was a four-way, and now his second defense is a tag match where he could potentially lose it by not even being pinned. So
four-way was the same, right? Yeah, I know. I like stacking it against Mark though. He was a pain in my ass for over a year,
This
so
is
I've got.
true. This is true. If any, he does kind of deserve it. But the thing is, he always seems to pull it. He always seems to pull out the bag. You know, he
Yeah.
mouths it off, and he's bloody annoying. But when the chips are down, you know, he always delivers. So it's really hard to hate, to hate the man. But
Yeah, I don't know about how hard it is to hate it, but it is very hard to not. It's very hard to argue with the fact that he has, his
that's it.
books on his
That's
name.
what. Yeah, that's the one. It's
Yeah,
hard to argue with the talent. That is for sure.
it is. And in 5 years' time, when they are over in America or Japan or whatever company, we will repost the video of these teams and say this was the first time. When they're headlining, I don't know, a pay-per-view for AEW, TNA, or whatever
Yeah.
WWE, we will be reposting the match that they had at Shenley Road, and just to whet the appetite of all the wrestling fans out there. But yeah, I can't wait. That is, probably, I'm not going to go as far as say it's probably the best match that Chamberlain, the four-way's got some way to go, to beat
It
that.
could well be though. When all is said and done, it could well be the best hit and turnbuckle match we've had so far. It really could. It could be the best match Ignite's ever seen. So
We'll have to see. We'll wait with bated breath. I'll have my popcorn and my script ready for that one. Main event time now. I'm going to put it straight up. I mean, geez, you mentioned Tommy and Connor's match, and again, I'll go along the same lines as I'm going to go with Luna and Sapphire. I thought it was going to be good. I didn't realize how good, and you're right. I called it technical strong style. I think the way that the match was went, and you're right. Technical matches ain't for everyone. If you look at the podcast I just released with Gideon Gray from Ref Pro in New Japan, I was saying on there that I kind of thought technical wrestling in the UK is a bit of a lost art because it all seems strong style, and you forget what the likes of Conor Mills and Zack Sabre Jr., who's very similar. I'd love to see a Zack Sabre Jr. Conor match if we could ever make that happen. Would be awesome at some point. Tommy and Conor just absolutely blew my mind with how great that match actually was. But now Tommy's got a different problem, and that problem is the Vulture Spike Trivet making his Ignite debut. Spike Trivet in progress has just come off the run of his career. He was champion for ages over there, losing it to Kid Lycos earlier on in the year. Hasn't been seen much since,
Mhm.
but he's coming to Ignite for one reason and one reason only, to have those Vulture's claws pull out the title from Tommy, and he wants to end Ignite or the year in Ignite as Ignite champion.
Yeah, and we've done this quite a few times with the title. We like to bring in big challenges for our champions because that we want them to prove against the best in the country why they're champion and if they can still be champion. Look, and it's not against the realms of possibility that Spike's going to come in on a debut and pick up the championship. He's certainly got the talent to do it, certainly got the credentials to do it, as you pointed out. How long was he Progress champion for? It was over
a year,
right?
I think a year or so over a year.
Yeah. Obviously, he has been at 96 Shenley Road before for Clash, but we've not seen him there for a long time. This is his Ignite debut. He's back after well over 4 years. So it'd be great to see him back. And he's obviously gone on to far bigger things since then. Tommy's fresh off the win with Conor Mills, and this is going to be a whole different challenge. I think. I don't think this is going to be a technical masterclass. Correct me if I'm wrong. We might be surprised, but it's going to be a whole other challenge to try and get through the viciousness that is the Vulture Spike Trivet. He'll come in, I'm sure, not giving a crap whether anyone likes him or not giving a crap whether he plays by the rules or not, and doing everything he can to walk out with that championship. And come back into Ignite in 2024 with 2025, sorry, with that title. Obviously, it's only Tommy's second defense, so I'm sure he's not going to be letting that up lightly. But yeah, hell of a debut for Ignite. A hell of a talent to be coming in. I'm proud to be able to bring in people like Spike Trivet and have them under the Ignite banner. It does mean a lot, and I'm sure this will be a main event worthy to close the year for us. And what a year it's been for Tommy as well. Let me just point that out. Talk about Luna having a hell of a year, but Tommy came back off an injury. He's come in and just, ran riot this year, winning the number one contenders match, and then going on at Buckle Up to win the title. And yeah, it's been great to see him come back. I think he's better than ever, and he's now got to prove himself against the best in the country in our final show of the year. So yeah, I mean those two title matches, they are two of the best matches we've ever put on. I think in the 3 years of Ignite, I'm struggling to think of with any better in terms of talent, but also kind of name caliber as well. And you know, they are two matches that could be on any promotion in the country, I think. And I'm proud to be able to put that on in my hometown of Boreham Wood.
Absolutely, we're bringing the best to Boreham Wood.
That's it. And with your help, Adam, that's the thing. With your help coming in, we're able to put on these incredible matches for our fans in Boreham Wood. So
we're looking forward to it for sure. Listen, the tickets are in limited supply. Where can they go and get them from?
Yep, 96.eventbrite.co.uk as usual. We've just released a new batch of tickets at the weekend because they were getting very low. We're still only on about 30 tickets left, though, even with the new ones released. So once they're gone, they are gone. Just under 2 weeks into the show. So yeah, the last kind of week before the show we tend to move a lot of tickets, so don't hold out to the last minute. Yeah, and obviously for future shows, check out Ignite Wrestling Pro on Facebook, Ignite Wrestling Pro on YouTube to watch all of our previous shows. Ignite Rest Pro on Twitter. All of our shows are promoted on there. So check out our future shows. All of our content and videos are shared on there as well. And Ignite Wrestling Pro on Instagram. Follow us, subscribe, check out our shows, buy tickets to November while they're still there. And the tickets for February will be going on sale very soon as well. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
Indeed. Keep your eyes peeled from that. And who knows, we'll talk 2025 on the next show. There may be an announcement or two. I mean, I don't know if there may be a certain month of the year that we may have to look at doing something. July rings a bell. I don't know yet. We'll look at that. Obviously, we'll discuss that after the show. Look, just coming up on the Hitting the Turnbuckle really quickly. Big thanks to Gideon Gray. Go and watch that video. Dropping this week is the artist formerly known as Justin Gabriel, recovering from a serious injury sustained during a Ring of Honor taping at the earlier part of the year. If you really want to know how bad the injury was, make sure you check that interview out because he goes into detail about how actually when he first got the injury, they was misdiagnosed and it actually turned out to be a lot worse than what the injury was. So just be prepared. That drops this week, so go and check that out. And as we bring down, well, we're going to be talking, next time we speak will be after the Curtain Call 3, and we'll be talking about the aftermath of Curtain Call 3 as the curtain does call on Chapter 3, and we discuss all things Chapter 4. But until then, everybody, he has been the Ignite GM CJ Carr. I have been the front man of Hitting the Turnbuckle, Adam Cousins, and until after Curtain Call 3, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, and goodbye.